We can't tell because we're told not to tell. We can't tell because we're told we're going to be hurt. We can't tell because you know what is shameful. We can't tell because we're afraid of the public opinion. At the end of it, you find adults that are brutalized. I have another article here by the Advocates for Youths, which is recently published. It was published Sunday, March 22nd, 2009, where they listed the extent of the widespread of sexual abuse in sub-Saharan Africa. It says right there, worldwide, 40 to 47% of sexual assaults are perpetrated against girls aged 15 or younger. And then it goes for the violence against girls and women. And excuse me to say, we are finding that sexual abuse is not just about the girls. You have young men that are brutalized today, and we wonder why they cannot be good fathers. You wonder why they are what they are today. And as a society, we put them down. He's not able to father his children. Well, you're not there. You don't know what happened to him, why he's not a mess he is today. Maybe he's crying out for help from you. As opposed to judging him, can we sit on a round table and figure out exactly what to do to this man? Because in their heart, I know they want to be good fathers. But how can they be when all they know in their life is like, you know what? You just zip it up, don't say anything. You're trash afterwards. You go through what you go, and you have no right to be heard. A case in point, it's a very renowned guy that, again, thank God for Oprah brought to her show. He's right here, Mr. Coles. It said Laveranues Coles, one of the NFL's brightest stars, is a wide receiver in the New York Jets with a $30 million contract. $30 million contract. He made all the money. You could see with that, he probably lived the best life. But you know what? Nobody knew. In the interview Oprah had with him, he said he seems to be living the American dream. Inside, he's haunted by a nightmare from his childhood, a secret his coach and even his closest teammates don't know. What is that? The sexual abuse by his own stepfather. This guy was brutalized by his own stepfather. And I'm going to go to a follow-up of that just to get us to capture the impact of this if you want to look the other way. He says the abuse caused him to act out at school. His grades began to suffer and he was overwhelmed by feelings of rage. I just really never cared about anything, says Laveranues. I was just always angry, wondering, why is this happening to me? Does it sound like the kids we have today? Teachers are there drowning with kids that are hurting, that are enraged, and they take it out on the teachers. Because if they can't attack who is home, who is abusing them at home, of course, the teacher becomes the avenue to lash out their frustration. This is ongoing and it's not stopped yet. And now we have a situation where a woman can put her face, Mackenzie can put her face to this nightmare, and you have people that have the nerves to tell her to shut up because she's lying. In closing, I want you to please listen to this poem that I want to read out to you. I wrote this poem for days, almost a week. I've not been able to sleep. Because right now I believe that I owe myself as a mother. I owe myself as an educator. And particularly, I owe the children out there, all the kids, particularly kids in urban district. I owe them that it is okay to speak to somebody. It is okay to let them know your father is abusing you at home. Your brother is abusing you at home. Your mother is doing that at home. Somebody is doing that. Your pastor, your coach, whoever that person is. Today, abuse is limitless. The people you trusted most are oftentimes the abusers. And then we wonder why kids come to school and they fight all day long. When it's time to go home, they're literally cheering down the classroom because they don't want to go home. Please take time out to just listen to this poem. I hope it does something to you. As I sat and I wrote it and I wept as I wrote it. I am the student who ushers your entrance with shattering words. Words that bruise the soul. I am the student who smashes your love with indescribable tools, some jagged, some cold, and some witty. Undaunted, you sail the slippery slope with books to awaken a weary soul before it is ensnared in chains or the motionless compartment. I am the student and now the parent seeking refuge in the web. Why the web? Do you really desire a response? When you shoot me to maintain still lips? When your action echoes lies, lies, and lies to my history buried in shame, fear, and guilt? Why do you now blame me for being an ineffective mother? A mother incapable of keeping her sons and daughters off the street, drugs, and guns? How can you button my words of sexual abuse as taboo and expect rational reasoning? I am a student today and a parent tomorrow. A parent today and a yesterday child whose experiences of vaginal penetrations, abortions, and mutilations of the soul distorted the natural process of development caused by the ones who chose to suffocate life out of the lifeless bodies. To heroes of today and tomorrow, the operas of our world that ignites the flame of freedom in us, the crusaders who light the best life touch when others sit and watch. Thank you for assisting us with the strength to step out of the closets of history's shame. To my fellow sexual abuse survivors out there, it does not matter who believes your story. You know the truth. The communities of survivors know the truth. The predators know the truth, regardless of their hard faces of intimidation. Set yourself free. Break the chains of mutilation and mutism. At the end of the day, that is really what matters. Give yourself the permission to enjoy real sex, never before experienced. And let the divine presence of peace engulf your life. May this poem speak to you. We all have a right to enjoy our lives, particularly sexually, because when you are being abused and torn apart as a child, you resent sex. And spouses out there that are married to survivors of sexual abuse can tell you, I wish they can come forward to speak what they go through with their wives. Oftentimes, I almost want to choke my husband when he starts to scratch my skin or try to come. Because you know what? I hate the word sex. I hate him up on top of me. Why? Because all I can picture is a beast that devoured me from the age of 10. And I thought, why should I willingly give up sex? It's a scar that never goes away. We don't physically see it, but it is buried within. I appeal to you out there, whoever you are, before you condemn, before you judge. You're dealing with children that are hurting. Adults that are still trying to figure out who they are because of the scars they have. It is time for you to reason and try to come together on a round table and see how you can be part of the solution and not the problem.